Pretéritos de verbos irregulares. Okay, students, here are some of the most common irregular verbs in español. Traer, to bring. Ir, to go. Dar, to give. Decir, to say. Dormir, to sleep. Estar, to be. Hacer, to do. Poder, to be able. Poner, to put. Querer, to want. Tener, to have. Ser, to be. And pedir, to ask for. And don't forget the signals for these verbs so you don't forget the meaning. So first, let's take a look at estar. And remember, estar is used to indicate places, feelings, or physical well-being. And estuve, estuviste, estuvo, estuvimos, estuviste, y estuvieron. For example, if I want to say I was in the party yesterday, I will say estuve en la fiesta ayer. And that means I was at the party yesterday. Let's take a look at more examples with the verb estar in the preterite or in the past tense. ¿Dónde estuviste? Where were you? Yo estuve en mi casa. I was in my house. ¿Y tú? And you? Yo fui a la escuela. I went to school. Now, try and translate the examples, but this should be easy because what you do is the red words, you're going to use the form of the verb estar that you saw in the previous slide. And if you forget, just rewind the movie and look at the verb estar and replace the English with the verb estar in the past tense. Now let's take a look at the verb ir. I'm sorry, I'm going to erase that line I did there. I didn't mean that. Okay, let's take a look at the verb ir and ser. Ir means to go and ser means to be. The forms of ser and to be are the same in the preterite, so you know the meaning depending on the context of the conversation in which you're using them. So it goes like this. Fui, fuiste, fue. Fuimos, fuisteis, fueron. And this is what I call the F word in Spanish because it begins with the letter F. Okay, and it's just a good way for students to remember. Okay, so let's take a look at some of the examples. Fui a la escuela ayer. I went to school yesterday. Fuiste a la escuela ayer. Did you go to school yesterday? And you can pause the movie and read the examples. Now let's take a look at the verb hacer in the preterite. So here we have hacer is hice. Let's move this over here with my hice, hiciste, hizo, hicimos, hicisteis, hicieron. And here we have some example. Hice arroz con pollo ayer, which translates to I made rice with chicken yesterday. Hiciste tu tarea muy bien. You did your homework very well. You can pause the movie and look at the examples with the verb hacer. Now let's take a look at the verb querer, which is to want, or sometimes it means to like or to love. This verb is a little bit hard for pronunciation for some students, so take a listen. Quise, quisiste, quiso, quisimos, quisisteis, quisieron. Take a look at some of the examples. Quise ir contigo a la escuela, which translates, I wanted to go with you to school. And remember, students, all these are in the preterite, meaning that when you translate this to English, it will translate to the past tense. Pause the movie and take a look at the examples. Now let's take a look at the verb dar. Here we go. Di, diste, dio, dimos, disteis, dieron. And let me go over some of the examples here. Let's take a look at the day form. ¿Cuánto dinero me dieron? How much money did you all give me? And here we go. And notice that me stands for me, but dieron is in the day form because they're the one who giving me the money. So this is an indirect object pronoun. Pause the movie so you can look carefully to the examples. Now let's take a look at the verb decir, which means to say, and the conjugations in preterite goes like this. Dije, dijiste, dijo, dijimos, dijisteis, dijeron. Remember that in Spanish, the letter J sounds like the letter H in English. Let's go over some of the examples. Let's take a look at the to form here. Tú dijiste muchas cosas, and that will translate to you said many things. And again, I want to emphasize that this form of the verb, the form of preterite, will translate to past tense in English. Pause the movie so you can carefully look at the examples. Now let's take a look at the verb dormir, which means to sleep. And here we go. Dormí, dormiste, durmió, dormimos, dormisteis, y durmieron. Let's take a look at some of the example. Let's take a look at the he, she, usted form, third person singular right here. Ella durmió mucho. She slept a lot. Pause the movie so you can look at the examples carefully. Now let's take a look at traer. Traer, which means to bring. Traje, trajiste, trajo, trajimos, trajisteis, y trajeron. Let's take a look at the we form here, the example. Nosotros trajimos el postre. Translation to English, we brought the dessert. Don't forget the signals for these verbs so you don't forget the meaning. Now let's take a look at the verb poner, which means to place or to put. The your form is puse, pusiste, puso, pusimos, pusisteis, y pusieron. Well, let's take a look at an example in the he, she form. Clarisa puso su carro en el estacionamiento will translate to Clarisa put her car in the parking. Take a minute to look at the example with the verb poner in the preterite tense or past tense. Now let's take a look at poder, to be able. Pude, pudiste, pudo, pudimos, pudisteis, y pudieron. Let's take a look at the example in the day form. ¿Quiénes pudieron ir a la fiesta? The translation will be who were able to go to the party. Notice here the translation to English of pudieron is were able, the day form. And last, let's take a look at the verb tener, which translates to have, and it goes like this. Tuve, tuviste, tuvo, tuvimos, tuvisteis, y tuvieron. Let's take a look at the to form. ¿Tuviste que trabajar ayer? Did you have to work yesterday? Notice again, in English, the word did is a helping verb to indicate that this is a question. We do not have this helping verb in Spanish. Instead, we have the question mark. So all I did is I put you have or you had and put it in the to form with a question mark in front.